Danny, Jack Swagger. Does anybody like this guy? I mean, I know this is like, I seem to stomp on Jack Swagger like he's Crimson on the streak. Like, I'm not a Jack Swagger guy, but I've never met a Jack Swagger guy. Is there anybody with a sign or a smile or anything? Do people do push-ups like, hey, look, who am I? I'm Jack Swagger. Is there anybody that's a Jack Swaggerer?
Jack Swagger, I don't know. I think when he came in, like when he was still like on ECW, and then maybe when he made the transition over to SmackDown, I have to assume some people liked him. Like there had to be somebody getting behind him or reacting to him for him to get pushed the way he initially did. But I've never heard anybody talk about it. Like I've never heard anybody be like, you know who needs the belt? Jack Swagger. Or you know who needs to be in the Royal Rumble match? Jack Swagger. Like nobody's ever clamoring for more of this guy. And like we kind of talked a little bit in the pre-show. Like somebody tweeted us and they compared Ziggler to Billy Gunn. And they said, I think it was the way it was what does Ziggler have that Billy Gunn doesn't? And you said, well, how did you phrase it?
I said, Dolph Ziggler does not have a person who wrestles in a T-shirt holding him down.
But for me, I would rather, but because he's cooler, so it's easier to see, I would rather have Road Dogg on my side than I would Jack Swagger. I mean, and you made some interesting points otherwise, but I think Swagger just brings Ziggler down. Like as long as they were together, it seemed like Ziggler was going nowhere. Like every time he broke away from him and it seemed like he was doing his own thing, we were like, man, it's going to be just a few months before Ziggler's got the title. And then they start hanging out again. And we're like, man, what did Ziggler do wrong? Why are they deep in him? Swagger is the equivalent of the cooler. Like he comes around and everybody else just loses their heat.
No, I don't think so. I think only Swagger loses his heat. Like I never thought Dolph Ziggler was like, here's the thing with the New Age Outlaws. I actually thought that's the best Billy Gunn could do. He never showed mic skills. And again, I was 10. What do I know? Or no, 12. But I wasn't sitting there going, I mean, this guy, he needs to get to the top now. My thought was always, he can get somewhere someday if he improves this and this and this. Dolph Ziggler, he had it. So I always looked at him like, all right, I hate Swagger, but I love Dolph Ziggler. No matter how like sick of the tag team I got, I still thought Ziggler was great because he did enough on his own to separate himself from that tandem where we were like, he's ready now. With that New Age Outlaws tag team, no one was like, Billy Gunn's above the New Age Outlaws. We're just like, he could be. I think. I hope so. He has a body. He slid into the ring really far.
But I think that's more of an argument of how great Ziggler is over Billy Gunn. Like, maybe if we flip-flopped him, how good could Billy Gunn do with Jack Swagger, and how good could Ziggler do with the Road Dogg? Like, we always say Ziggler needs Vicky around as like a mouthpiece, but he's just now coming into like his own on the mic. But for a long time, Ziggler needed somebody to talk for him. Vicky is someone, I don't know if she's the best. Maybe a guy like Road Dogg could have been even better if he stepped back and took more of that manager role instead of trying to be an equal.
Danny, you know what I was thinking about Swagger a few months ago?
What was that?
This guy needs a Bart Simpson haircut. I mean, if he just had the Bart Simpson going to church haircut.
Right. It's not regular Simpson. It's church Simpson.
I got to know why, too. He changed his hair, but he doesn't change anything that needs changing. Like, the hair was fine. That was the one good thing about you. How about you stop stomping after your fucking stupid push-ups? How about you stop, here's what, I'm going to redecorate Jack Swagger and make him good for you right now, Danny.
I'd love to hear it. I think this is could be a great mini game of Kevin Silvertongue. I want you, this is one shot off, I want you to convince me why Jack Swagger is good.
First thing first, I'm letting him keep the attire, but I'm making this change. He needs to come out with the straps pulled down. And then, before he goes for the ankle lock, pull his straps up.
So you're making him go reverse Kurt Angle. Because I don't see Swagger as being that guy that could wrestle without a full, like, don't you picture that underneath that attire is just a mess of a body? Like, there's no way it looks normal, right?
No, well, I don't know what kind of answer this is, but I've seen pictures of him working out on the beach, and he does have a good body. I think
that's something you looked up.
I was on his Twitter or something. There's potential that, I mean, his body's fine. He's an athlete. I can't deny that. It's his face, his voice, and his brain that's a problem. But yeah, so we're pulling the straps down, because that's my favorite wrestling attire. If somebody comes out with the straps already down, Ziggler did it once, and I was pissed because he looked awesome, and that's Wesley Lawrence thing. And I'm like, dude, I mean, come on. Just give me a decade to get in shape and make the connects and get into WWE, and I was going to do that. Fucking asshole. He was 10 years too quick for me. So, all right, I'm going to give Swagger that. I'm getting the hair spiked back up, Danny.
Yes.
All right, the nose is fine. I mean, his face looks beat up. That's cool. But no more talking. Enough of that. Not even looking. I don't want you looking at people because it's weird because you can tell he's like, whether it's don't look at the camera, he's concentrating on not, so he's looking at someone else and he's like just look at Vicky. I'm just going to look at Vicky right now. Like it's so, just look up or down. And he needs to either be looking at the sky or looking down at the ground. And Danny, the rest of his body can distract us from the face, I think.
I think you're on to the beginnings of it. I think the problem is you don't have much to work with here. I don't know if there's enough we could do to Swagger to make him like a legit main eventer. And I'm wrong about that stuff all the time. I never see guys as main eventers and then they later on go to prove me incredibly wrong.
Yeah.
With Swagger, I could stand by that one. I don't know that I could ever see him as that. And I'll say it because I've long proclaimed that the reason I can't take Swagger seriously is the lisp. And it's that nobody really addresses it. And I don't need it to be addressed in the sense that somebody comes out and makes fun of it every week where it gets all, but I don't know, like I need it acknowledged officially. Like I need him to acknowledge it just once. So I know that it's like, okay, you hear it too, right? Like, you talk like that.
I would like him to acknowledge that as much as he acknowledges the camera in the back when he's not supposed to.
So I don't know that there's ever anything they could do with that. And that had to be a concern, like when they went and pulled him up. The weird things they probably criticize up-and-coming indie talent for and not letting them, get a shot. Why did somebody not think we can never get past this list and get this guy to be good on the mic? And mic skills go a long, long way in WWE these days.
Danny, you cut me off before. First of all, I already said no talking, so don't worry about it. He's a guy that just walks, and we'll find a new mouthpiece. Brock Lesnar's just a mouthpiece. So anyways, what the hell is that? I don't know what my throat was making. Danny, he comes out. And he's like fucking Road Warrior Hawk. Danny, he comes out. You can't hurt his head because he has spiked hair again and his face looks beat up. So he does flying headbutts. He does the Brodus Clay headbutt when they come off the ropes. Danny, if you try to give him a pile driver, he stands right up. And by the way, he doesn't look at the opponent. He either looks at the ring or up at the ceiling, like the rule says. Danny, this new Jack Swagger, if he doesn't get over, I'm going to quit the business.
I think they at least got to give it a try because the Swagger that we know now, he can't be going anywhere. Like, this is a guy that I don't even know I want to see him hold like a mid-card belt. Like, that's all he's built for is like Intercontinental or US, but I think I'm so done with him. I once proclaimed that Drew McIntyre would be fired by the end of the year. I'm kind of wrong about that, although he might as well be at this point. I would say if you can't fix Jack Swagger within the next year, you got to let him go. Like, and this isn't a guy like that you should be worried. People are like, what happens if Orton fails another drug test? Do you let him go? Do you let him go to TNA? I don't think you have to fear what happens if Jack Swagger shows up in another company. He's not the turnaround that somebody needs.
By the way, Danny, we're dropping the Jack. It's just Swagger. Swagger's coming out.
I like that.
Yeah, and all right, he can't do the stomp anymore, but he can do the push-ups. And we'll slowly phase that out for cartwheels.